The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
June, you're dealing with a controlling coworker. Tell me about that.
I am. This coworker is focusing on me during staff meetings and my job. She doesn't know her boundaries, and it's just giving me a lot of stress. As far as the leadership, they're either not seeing this or they are allowing it to go on because it makes their job easier. They don't have to deal with anything.
Go ahead.
What has happened is we've had this type of individual before, and she finally quit, and now we've got another person who's moved into her position and is doing the same thing. And
it sounds like whoever's hiring is
looking bad.
Okay, so give me a sampler. What happens in a staff meeting? I don't know if I need to know your job or not, or you can give me the ballpark. But just paint a picture for me of, if I were you, what would be going on in that staff meeting?
Anything that they can criticize that I do, they will. If they find something they want it to go their direction, they'll push for it. We have had a majority of people that did not want staff meetings more than once a month through the summer months because they're slower.
Yep.
This person wants to push for 2, especially if I say, oh, no, I don't want meetings at all. She'll be the only one that wants it, and she'll push for that. She's also pushed to ask when projects are going to be done, and it's really not her concern. It's my focus that she needs to stay on her job. She just doesn't know her boundaries, and she seems to want to control us and push us like a very pushy, micromanaging boss.
Okay, so how do you, let me be her for a second, and you need to cut me some slack because I obviously don't know her, but what if I said, you say what? We don't, it's the summer months, it's a slow period, and we're just really wasting our time here. We could even skip the summer months or just have one meeting a month. And I'm assuming you say something like that, June, and I'll be her, and I'll come in and say something on the order of, well, what are you talking about? I think it's important to keep the pace going, and we need to meet twice a month. What do you then say to her?
We have a lot on our plate. I just don't have time for these meetings.
Okay.
And I'm going to be having meetings weekly. I have to take minutes to in the fall.
Okay. So immediately, can you feel that we are pushing against each other, the tension in your voice and the tension in my voice, if I'm the coworker?
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot on our plate. Can you hear the tone of voice? So you've already, with her, the two of you are already in active combat, so to speak, verbal combat. And it's no longer, you're tuned into each other's emotional response rather than the content. So let me give you another option. Why don't you be her and push for the 2 months for a second?
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. I wish I knew more about what girls want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance, a serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. Huh. The Selfish Path to Romance. That is interesting.
Why don't you be her and push for the 2 months for a second?
Push for.
Tell me that we need, every 2 weeks, or whatever she wanted.
Right. I think we see how long this meeting has went. I think we need to move every 2 weeks doing this meeting. There's a lot that needs to be covered, and it keeps me motivated.
That's an interesting point. Tell me more about that. What did I just do?
So did you turn it on her?
I just diffused her. I am going to roll with her resistance because I want her to talk to herself. I want her to have a conversation of why 2 weeks is good. And I will be an active listener. I know I can speak later on, but right now I want to diffuse her. I want to take the fangs out, so to speak. I want to take the confrontive part out. So if she said that, I'd say, tell me more. Sometimes it's called rolling with resistance. I'm on a wave with her, and I'm just going to ride it for a little bit to hear her better. And when I hear her better, somebody else is hearing her better. Who?
The other people in the staff meeting?
Yeah, and someone else.
Me?
You and there's one more person.
Her.
She's hearing herself better. And that has an amazing power, because she says, it really keeps me motivated. And so let me come back now. And first I'll ask you, tell me more. And I'm going to keep drawing you out. That's the skill. That's another name of the skill. I want to hear more. I want you to complete your thinking on this. I'm giving you a canvas for you to paint on for a moment. It's not my picture. I want to hear your picture. Then I'll tell you my picture. I'm saying tell you, but show you my picture. So what I might say to her at that point, June, is, so I would sum up what I'm hearing. So what you're saying is that it keeps you motivated, and you would like to meet every 2 weeks, and she might have 2 or 3 other points. So I really pay attention to her, and I repeat her points. Notice not once did I put a button there. If I said, you want to meet every 2 weeks, but, now how do you feel if you're June?
You feel like you want to push.
Right. So in psychology, we call it, I'm pointing to my butt now, you can't see that on radio, but no buts. No buts, because those type of buts put the other person down. You cleaned your room really well, but honey, you forgot your closet. What do you hear? You hear the negative, right? Everything after the but negates the good stuff that comes first. So I want to hear her out. I want to say, I hear that you want the twice a month. It keeps you motivated, and I love that you're motivated. I feel that way too, and I'm thinking that after she finishes, I would say, I'm thinking that I actually stay a bit more motivated when I do the work, I don't know, outside of these meetings. So it sounds like we have different ways of keeping motivated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I just gave her my painting and everybody else in the room. And I might give her 2 or 3 bullet points of why I feel motivated not having to meet in the summer. Because I don't want to put her down, so I don't want to say we just waste our time here, we schmooze about our kids, we get nothing done, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that I can use, I find that I like the meetings, and in the summer I find that I actually get more done when I'm at home. So maybe we could have the meetings optional. You might come up with some, and everybody else might say, if you have good enough reasons, you might sway the other people in the room.
There's just a lot to do, and we have this time where we're not constantly being interrupted in the summer, so we can get on a roll.
Okay, and with the projects, I know you want to keep a barrier with the projects too. Thank you so much for your input. I'm hearing this point, and this point, and I'll take those into consideration. But then you don't have to say any yes buts. I'll take them into consideration. But you're holding your ground. Whose project is it? Yours.
Mine.
Yeah, and I can take something into consideration. That doesn't mean I'm going to take it, right?
Right.
So there are ways you want to give yourself the skills of active listening. You could Google it online. I wrote a book on romance that's got active listening in it, but you're not dealing with romance here with this woman. I wrote it with Dr. Ed Locke.
No,
So
not at all.
I might recommend just learning some assertive skills, they're called, and active listening skills. They're going to serve you so well, June. So thank you so much for your call.
Oh, thank you for helping me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner.
And here's a little more from Dr. Kenner.
I've been teaching for 22 years. And each year, These kids get more and more arrogant.
Come on, Vern. The kids haven't changed. You have. Come on. Listen, Vern, if you were 16, what would you think of you, huh?
And what a good question. If you were 16, what would you think of you? You know, when we're the kids, we look at our parents and man, we can be critical. We can criticize them up and down. And I'm talking about good parents, not parents who are obviously abusive or really bad. But maybe, oh, my parent doesn't let me do everything I want to do. And, oh, they're so unreasonable and I don't get it. And then you become the parent and then you're saying, oh, my kid never listens to me. I'm trying to get them in line. And how do you resolve those situations? You need good communication skills. You need to know how to reach either your parent's mind or your child's mind. And it's also really important to hold perspective. What would you think of yourself if you were 16? I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner, and that drop was from The Breakfast Club.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance by Dr. Ellen Kenner.
What practical steps can you take to make sure that intimacy is a priority and not a duty? Start by always promoting strong emotional intimacy and visibility. Find ways to reduce fatigue. Discover the best ways to create a romantic mood. Set aside private time. Make sure you and your partner both experience pleasure so that intimacy will be something to look forward to. Share fantasies if both of you feel safe doing so. Of course, as you age, your body still needs to be able to cooperate. Some factors are more controllable. You cannot control your actual age, but you can have some influence on how well your body functions as you get older. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, stress reduction, and getting enough sleep are all important to your physical and emotional well-being.
You can download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com, and you can buy the book at amazon.com.